It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Obviously, my depression is real and it affects me physically. This is real. I woke up about 3. Um, I took yesterday off. I wasn't feeling well. I've got my period going on, and I'm not even gonna lie, I'm being a girl about things, a woman. But I've been watching videos, and to say this hasn't hit me like the last time is an understatement. It really hasn't. I kind of felt like these really monumental, uh, epiphanies, and I had all these answers, and I bounced back, and I was just shiny, and I was losing weight, and I did all this great stuff this last time. The last time he broke me down the way he did, I bounced back beautifully. It was like I had all these answers and I could understand what was going on, and I felt like I had a grip on how to fix things and how to make things better, and I was feeling better, and it was legit. And then he came back along, and then it felt like all those things went out the window. And does he keep doing this to me? And what's why? What's really the dynamic going on here? And am I crazy? Am I chasing my tail? What the fuck am I doing? And why am I like this? So I got to see in a lot of these different videos, and some more little bit of insight kind of popped up. And it's been a long time coming because I didn't even get to this point. I feel like I'm reaching the end of the narcissistic abuse videos. I feel like I've seen the whole library on almost anybody who's put content out about it, and I feel like, there are other people out there like me who feel the same way. They feel like they've done all this research and they've learned all these things and they've taken all these strategies in, and for what, so even looking into codependency and looking into some of these other things, these things that are domino, basically a snowball effect. It's branching off into other things and blah, 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 blah. It goes on and on and on. So a couple of things that I did kind of come across the last couple of days that kind of have stuck with me um, is the theory that when he love bombs me, anyone who knows me and my mom, me and my mother had a very weird relationship. I love my mom, but she'd be the first one to tell you that my brother was her favorite child. My mom was a narcissist, but she was codependent too. I almost think she was kind of like a borderline or whatever you want to call her, split personality or whatever. My mom was awesome. And I thought even indirectly my parents were just really rough around the edges. I didn't realize they were narcissistic because they really are. And I didn't realize they were. I just thought they were rough around the edges. They came from Cleveland. They didn't want us to raise us to be little bitches. They just raised us the way they did. And to me especially, they're looking at me like, oh, she's the capable one. She's the oldest one. This other kid that we have over here, i.e. my brother, he's the one that couldn't take care of himself, and they coddled the shit out of him. But Tina, she's self sufficient. She could take care of herself. Let her go play. Let her go get in trouble. Whatever. Go do what you do, Tina. Go live your best life. But when I needed emotional support, my parents weren't there. My dad was working a lot, and a lot of times he was grumpy, and everyone kind of stayed away from my dad. He was a miserable. Even now, you see him now, he's fucking miserable. So as a child, you're not gonna want to be around that. And he's big and he's scary. But I love my dad. Don't get me twisted. I'm an adult now. I've mended a lot of this stuff, but there have been things that I haven't been able to fix about me, that have been this way about me since I was a child, before my period. Okay. And then this guy comes along who's also fucked up in the head. No, make no mistake, this man is not perfect. He is not Prince Charming. And I don't want to sit there and say and point all the blame at him and say he's this horrible. He is a monster. But I can't sit there and put all the blame on him, because that's not fair either. It's two people in this. I'm not fighting with myself. And he obviously has resistance towards me and my what they call autonomous self, my whatever I'm going to do, I don't fall in line with what he wants me to. He objectify. I'm an object to him. We all are. And it doesn't matter if you're his child. It doesn't matter if you're his significant other or you're his friend or you're his family member. You're an object. What can he get from you? And um, that's a whole type of personality disorder that I don't know about because I'm the opposite spectrum of that. I care too much for other people and not enough about myself. And I put others before me. So it kind of works hand in glove. Where he's a take, 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 I'm a give, give, give. So it does work. Not in theory. On paper it does, I should say. Because in reality, it's not healthy at all by any stretch of the fucking dynamic. It's just not. He sees no problems in anything of his life, his actions. He's content with who he is on the outside, on the surface. In the inside, though, he's lying. He's lying to himself, and anyone who's normal knows that he's lying. I mean, anyone who's normal, who's self-confident within themselves, is not literally not going out of their way to make sure other people are beneath them, to make sure other people are devalued, or they know where they stand. Like even I am guilty of saying, well, at least you know where you stand with me. Well, they want to make sure you know that you're not above them. You know what I mean? Where I will let somebody know we're all equal here. I don't feel anyone's below me. If anything, I'm more apted to put somebody above me than I am to put them below me. Where he is more apted to put someone below him before he would even make them on his level. If that makes sense? So when these people do come into your life, this is the point I was going to, they're saying that he is showing me unconditional and indirect by in a Freudian sense. He is showing me unconditional love that my mother would have been giving me. Probably because he also has a not so normal, from out of his own words, he's not a fan of his own mother. But I love my mom, but even me and her bumped heads a lot. But she always was so quick to put that in everyone's face. She always would say that we bumped heads so much and we fought so much, but it would be weird if you asked me. I would say nothing but kind things about my mom, and I would think about all the good times, where she would only think about and focus on the bad. So there again, narcissistic kind of shit, I'm never good enough. Or I'm looking on the cup is half full, but mom, we had all these laughs and we shared all these joints and, listened to all this bad music together, and oh, but you were a bitch and you never listened to me, and. So yeah, that's where my codependency actually stems from. So I never really had emotional support growing up. You really should know too. Anyone who's known me and really knows me knows that I was smoking weed with my mom before I was an adult. And I'm not going to say what age I was, but we all know I was a teenager, a young teenager, that not many people smoke pot with their mom when they're a teenager. But they just don't. You could already tell I had a very weird upbringing. It wasn't the normal upbringing as everybody else's parents were like, what, you smoke pot, get out my house, you drug addict. Not my mom. She's just like, what, you're smoking weed and you didn't share, you fucking bitch. Like, now, and on the outside it sounds funny and it sounds like no big deal, but on the, and maybe even to some people it sounds horrific, because they're like, I can't believe that you were, but it is unorthodox. That's the point I'm making. And most narcissistic parents want to be your friend. They don't want to be your parent. They want to try to have some sort of a relationship with you. So I've learned a lot of this stuff recently, which helps me kind of bridge the gap between my shit. Okay? But coming into him, the things that scare me: A, he watches me from afar. He will always be in my life. This is not my opinion. These are other people's videos. Once you come in contact with one, they too have attachment issues. And they pretty much, even though he's discarded me right now, he will be back. He'll always come back until I put my foot down and say, I'm not playing with this no more. Um, but this is an illusion. And that's what a lot of these narcissists do. They use illusion to get what they want. They use manipulation and illusion to get what they want. They're con men. And how I feel like I've been conned this whole time. I'm not crazy. I have been, so I'm not, so they say a lot of times you have to reflect inward to get all this shit out and get it right. And that's why uh, some of the shit happens the way it does, blah, 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 blah. My problem right now is the next step. Like I said, there is strategies to handle what happens next, because there is going to be this isn't the end. As much as it feels like the end and he's trying to make it seem like the end, it's not the end, because fuck him. I still have a whole life to live, and it doesn't matter who's in it or who's not in it. I still have things that I want to do for myself. And people like him are going to see that and they're going to want back in. They're going to get bored with what the fuck they're doing, and they're going to be like, wonder what's going on with this one. Because I swear to God, on everything I love, I'll bounce back again. I'll become that shiny new toy again, because I'm always trying to better myself, and I'm always trying to build off of my mistakes, which is something they don't fucking do. So that's intriguing to people who don't do that. It's projecting, right? It's almost like it goes back to, it's full circle. The things that I wish I had in my life, when I see somebody else is capable of doing that or doing those things, I'm like, I'm intrigued by that. I want to know more about that. So, and then that's how you kick off a lot of different relationships. And it doesn't even have to be like a relationship. Like, it could be a friendship, whatever. It doesn't have to be that serious, but that's my whole point. Like, so the next steps for me is actually grieving myself, because a part of me dies when it is manipulation. It is psychologically speaking, it's not healthy. It's not. And it is toxic. And he's a toxic person, but I allow that toxicity into my life, so I have to take the ownership of that part. And I let it stay for so long. And why did I let it stay? And we all know why I let it stay. But what makes it so hard is he hit in me, because I am the way I am and wired the way I am, and it'll work with people like me. He hit in me key points. He made me feel like this unconditional love was, it is something that can happen with somebody. So it gave me not a false sense of hope, but it was almost like a false sense of hope. But it gave me this feeling of me actually being able to fall in love with my best version of me through his eyes, but it was through the eyes of your mother. Like, he's trying to be my mother, Freudian speaking, not like for real. And in turn, though, the reason for that is because I'm giving him motherly love. And it's this weird motherly dynamic that we have going on, and which makes it even more hard to rid yourself of, because you only have one mom. Of course, anyone who asks you love your mom, even if you have a strained fucking relationship with I'm sure, I don't know, I think we have talked about his mom. I know he's not a fan of his mom, but I'm sure if his mother passed away, he probably would say it on the outside. I wouldn't care, but I'm sure deep down it would bother him. Even my mother, who, she was the only one who could talk to her father, because my grandfather. A lot of the people in my family on my mom's side disowned my grandfather. They would not talk to my grandfather because he was just the way he was, and they see no loyalty in him. So they treated him as such. And They did. And rather than looking past to him, yeah, he made a mistake, or yeah, this is, whatever. My mom would speak to him and have a relationship with him where no one else wanted to. And I seen that about my mom. She would deal with difficult people when no one else wanted to. So for me, I he would tell me how difficult he was, but I'm looking at it like, you're lying. Like, no way. Like, you're everything I ever wanted. Like, I don't see where you're so difficult as a person. But then the realness happens. I get it now. But at the same time, we are attracted to what feels comfortable, which is my big complaint. I'm like, I don't feel comfortable around anyone. And a lot of it has to do with my childhood and dysfunction. And that's why I keep attracting these dysfunctional types, because I'm dysfunctional. I grew up in a dysfunctional home. So our demons do actually play well together. And this discard is not infinite. This discard is just because things got a little too heavy for him. He's got to back off and go deal with somebody not so heavy. Or maybe this girl he feels comfortable with, he's known for a long time, and he's already had 3, 4, 5 go rounds with this one. She looks a little older than me, I'm just saying. I, just saying. Maybe she'll put up with more than I will, because I ask a lot of questions. I fight, not push back, but I do push back more. I am more challenging. As much as I walk on eggshells, I still push back. So yeah, I've taken all of this in the last couple of days, and I know I can bounce back, and I know I'm going to stay focused. It's going to be a little bit more painstaking. It's going to be a little bit more, but my depression is real, man. I'm waking up at like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm falling asleep at like 8 o'clock at night. My fucking appetite's fucked. I'm crying sporadically. Now I'm starting to have like these like random fucking crying spells. Um, so yeah, like I I know I need some help, but I'm working on me, and time heals a lot of these wounds. But um, I mean, like legit, like need a legit therapist. But I don't want to be that 40-year-old woman too, being all flighty and shit, talking about, oh, you know, I don't want to be that lady. That lady from the 80s that's all in the movies and she's crying every time she's around people. I don't want, no. I don't want to be that lady either. She's all miserable and shit. I never wanted to be that lady, so I don't know. But going for I don't at the end of the day, I gotta be able to bring it back home. You know, where I'm gonna put myself on a pedestal now for a little bit and put a lot of money into myself, which I will. I'm putting money, and I don't mean like just even therapy. I mean there will be some therapy things I'm gonna do, but I'm not going to be a fucking. I'm not gonna fall into that bullshit either, where I only have, because there's a scam even to that shit too, where you have to go therapy. No, at the end of the day, you can have $1 million in doctors, but it's you that does the work. And give yourself credit for that shit. And fuck them and their little I mean, they got the theories in play, and they got the workbooks, the fucking, the step-by-step guides on how to fix you. They know that, and that's fine. Do that. But don't fall into the hype of, now I got to give you my life savings because I'm still not right, and you never feel like you're right. Bullshit. You are still you at the end of the day. So you're not going to be perfect. I'm not going to be perfect, but getting past this and being able to have meaningful relationships with somebody is really what's important to me, because I don't feel connected to anyone. I want to fix that about me. And I am pretty. Fuck you guys. I think a lot of guys too, some of them I think really do look at me like an object. Like, I want that for a little bit, whatever. But yeah. And then there's other guys out there who, that bitch is a nutbag. Yeah. She has daddy issues. Eh, I'm I really don't want to say I have mom and dad issues. You know, your parents didn't love you enough. Well, no, they did love us. I can't sit there and say my parents didn't love me. They didn't hug me enough, no, but they did love me. So there's like these misconceptions too, I think, about people who are like me, that we're all just kind of, you're never gonna change, we're never gonna get better or whatever, but or we're always gonna be in therapy for the rest of our lives, which is bullshit too. Like I'm kind of like resentful of the idea of therapy. I think I should be able to fix myself on my own, you know. So I don't like to be a burden to anyone. And I really don't like to waste money on things that, you know, like I rather buy vacations than therapy or shoes or perfume or something, you know. That's my problem. Which is actually, that was the other thing too. When these narcissists come into your life, they resort you down to childhood. I resorted him to his childlike state. We do. I don't think he ever grows. I think narcissism is an underdevelopment, and that's why he acts like a kid and throws tantrums when he doesn't get his way. And I've always been a child in a childlike state, or a child, because I never had kids. I've never had to grow up. So you know, when he does this, when I come across somebody like this and they affect me this way, I automatically become a narcissist too. So my narcissism is, you know, triggered, and how do I deal with that? So they say in order to fight fire with fire, you gotta be I gotta look at things through his eyes. Try to, which is really hard and unnatural for me because I'm the opposite of him. So that's my challenge. Learning how to live like one of those people. With that, it's almost like method acting, you know? So this will be kind of interesting for me. That's another strategy that'll work on, but I've got a lot on my plate. So it's almost overwhelming and exhausting without even having to do anything. It's exhausting. It really is. So, and I could see why I do kind of like not want to address it all the time. It's just, it is exhausting. And then I can see why it's called work. You know, because it feels like work, you know. I've been up for a minute now. I don't know. I'm still not, I kind of like, should I go to work today? No, I'm not going to work today. I'm taking a me day today. I think it's a well-deserved, warranted me day. So yeah, I'm gonna take the day for myself. I don't feel the greatest still. I'm bleeding like a sieve. I still have a headache. But if I am able to make strides with this, I've spent the day well, and I can't be mad. And I'm taking time for myself because I need this right now. I have been putting a lot of things in fawning. That's the other thing. I fawned. And that's hard. That's the hard part about overcoming your codependency is we fawn. So be, that's the way. It's bigger than just how we deal with internal problems. It's how we deal with outside life too. We're constantly having to give and take. That's what we do. We have to jump through hoops every day. We can't just do what we want to do. There's rules we have to go by. You know what I mean? And I think that's where the disconnect comes from me. I feel like, well, why is it people who are, when I was younger, why is it people who are married got to, you know, take a day off and they didn't ask no questions about it? But they look at me double like, oh, what is this young little girl taking time off work for? Oh, not like this married couple over here who have kids. Oh, her kids were sick from school, so she needed to take the day off. Well, why did Tina call off? What? Oh, she's sick? Yeah, okay. You know what I mean? It's this thing where you feel like people look at you like, oh, you're not as of worthiness because you're not a mom, you're not a wife, you know, and it's like, no, fuck you. When do I get to put my fucking foot down? You know, and even in this house, when do I get to be the grown up? You get what I'm saying? So it's constantly following me. That's me, that's a me thing. But dealing with a he thing, I don't need that in my life. That's how you need to deal with that on your own time. But we assume those problems too. Like we want to fix it for the world. So I need to change that shit. I need to change that shit like today, like yesterday. So just a little. This is a very long video, and it's one of the longer videos I've ever done. But it's not really that funny either. I'm sorry. I apologize. It's 4 something in the morning. It was like probably 4:30 now. I think it might be about 4:20. I started this a little early. I bet I got time to do a 4:20 session. But that's what I'm gonna be working on today. So happy Tuesday. I don't feel good. I'm feeling chest pains still too. Fucking, I'm still getting they're sporadic as fuck. So, it's all bad luck for me. It's a bad luck for me. I could do so much better than that. And he knows it, and that's why he's treating me like shit. He knows I could do better than him, and that's his insecurity, and he's gonna play it off like, oh, I got this great girl that I want. She ain't nothing. Yeah, you're lying to yourself. Quit lying to yourself, and and that's the other thing too. I can't be with somebody who lies to themselves. Because if you're gonna lie to yourself, you're gonna lie to me too. You'll never be honest with anybody if you're gonna lie to your own self, and this is how you live. You live in lies. It's just, I can't do it either. I couldn't do it either, so I'm such a horrible person because I question things. And I won't, and I do live authentically to my own true self. I'm not going to pretend to be somebody I'm not for the sake of appeasing others, and I'm not going to make it easy on anyone else because they want me to. I'm just not. And if that makes me a bitch, I will gladly take that. I will, if that makes me, whatever word you want to throw at me for it, I don't care. I'm not, I really don't care. I live for me. I live for me. I walk in my shoes. Nobody has to do it for me but me, so I'm doing all right. I'm going to go back to bed now. I need to go back to sleep. Oh, I don't feel great. I don't. This is a bad period, but this is a good period because it made me come to this realization that, I do have a chance, a hope in hell. I do. But I got to be the hero. I got to be my own superhero in all of it. Again, but you know what? I do look good doing that. It's a good look on me, And then that's the other thing too, like at the end of the day, I want to help other people not feel like this. And then if what I went through can help somebody else overcome what they're going through or not be like me and not make the same mistakes I did. But most times people make the same mistakes I make anyway because they got to learn for themselves. Because that's a very real thing where people, they're like, I won't be like that. I'll do it this way. Live and learn, man. So, yeah, I'm going to go back to bed.